Kia ora, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at Everything You Need to Know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news both of the world's largest economies are getting activity expanding again. China's trade surplus rose very sharply in the first 2 months of 2021, with exports up 60% and imports up more than 20%. That generated a huge $103 billion surplus and far above the expected $60 billion. And a proxy for Chinese factory activity is the copper price, and that is now at its highest in more than 10 years. It is signalling anticipated demand for new Chinese infrastructure projects. And the scale of their overall rebound can also be found in road transport data, which recorded a 45% rise in January from the same pre-pandemic month a year ago. And China set an economic growth target of above 6% for 2021, confirmed at a big 5-year plan set-piece meeting in Beijing. If achieved, it'll make the Chinese economy 75% as large as the US and closing in. Meanwhile, in the US, non-farm payrolls rose a better than expected 329,000 in February, and private payrolls rose 465,000. This is a very good private sector result, aided because the January levels were revised up strongly. But it still leaves a loss of 9.5 million jobs since the start of the pandemic a year ago. Now the question is whether this is the start of a substantial recovery in American employment to make back those pandemic losses. The Biden stimulus plan is the hope. Stimulus checks could go out within days. It will juice up the American economy with a $1.9 trillion in new funding, with a substantial proportion of that going directly to its citizens. Bond markets, however, worry this may accelerate an already evident inflationary impulse. Not so good was the January US trade balance, which came in with a $68 billion deficit and very much higher than a year ago. In Australia, collapsing power prices due to the rise of low-cost renewables is expected to start shutting a growing set of coal-fired power plants, starting as early as this coming week. Many of these shutdowns could be permanent. The US Treasury 10-year yield is up another 2 basis points at 1.58%, taking the weekly rise to 14 basis points. And the price of gold starts today up by $1 at $1,700 even. Oil prices are up to $66 a barrel in the US, while the international price is up a bit more to $69.50 a barrel. These are their highest levels in more than 2 years. And the Kiwi dollar opens at 71.6 US cents, which is 110 basis points lower than this time last week. Against the Australian dollar, however, we're at 93.2 Australian cents, and against the euro, we're still at 60.2 euro cents. That means our trade-weighted index is at 73.8 and actually only marginally lower in a week. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.